Here are three things that hurt a narcissist more than anything else in the world. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to explore a question people ask all the time. Can a narcissist actually cry? Can they really feel true emotional pain? The short answer is yes. Narcissists do experience intense feelings, even though they constantly play the victim or act as if life has treated them unfairly. That exact same emotional sensitivity that lets them play the victim so convincingly also makes them surprisingly easy to wound. A narcissist carries a deeply fragile ego, and almost any slight can bruise it. Certain setbacks only rattle them slightly, while other blows can inflict serious damage on how they view themselves. When that strike comes from someone the narcissist actually respects, the impact can be totally devastating. Nothing cuts deeper into a narcissist than a direct challenge to their pride or their intense need for total control. It makes zero difference whether that challenge takes place in public or behind closed doors. It stings intensely either way. Put simply, narcissists manufacture their own misery. They build it through constant lying, pretending to be someone they are not, and hiding deep insecurity. None of this would matter much to anyone else, except narcissists view themselves as completely untouchable. So the second they feel challenged, they immediately crave payback. In their distorted mind, everyone else should absorb the weight of their pain, never them. Narcissism is discussed far more frequently as a serious mental health issue today. What narcissists actually require from those around them is endless compassion and patience. Right now, the narcissist is likely behaving in a highly hypocritical manner, saying one thing while doing another, relying entirely on your kindness to offer them yet another chance. That exact reliance is why they remain so vulnerable to being hurt. So let us not waste any more time. Stick with me until the very end, because these details will completely change how you view their behavior. Here are three sure ways that people end up deeply hurting a narcissist. The first major blow is being pushed aside and intentionally left out. Narcissists simply cannot tolerate being confronted with the truth about their flaws. Even minor criticism cuts deep because their skin is paper thin. They live in absolute terror of being left alone because they rely on continuous praise and attention from everyone around them. A narcissist simply cannot function without other people constantly feeding their ego. And here comes the tricky part. Once you get sucked into their chaotic world, escaping becomes incredibly difficult. These days, narcissists have an easier time than ever thanks to social media platforms and instant messaging apps. They have constructed an online fantasy world where they gather endless praise without ever having to show up physically for anyone. This setup allows them to maintain superficial relationships that would normally collapse for regular people without real contact. A narcissist can survive entirely on a steady stream of likes, comments, and digital compliments. For the time being, that is more than enough to keep their shallow fantasies and twisted desires alive. The second thing a narcissist fears above all else is being publicly exposed. As discussed in previous topics, narcissists care immensely about their external image. They will tell lie after lie just to protect that illusion. Their entire existence becomes a staged performance designed to persuade people that they are far more successful, fascinating, and impressive than they truly are. So, when that carefully crafted image starts cracking open in front of an audience, the emotional distress becomes almost unbearable. Watching their manufactured world crumble before their eyes is easily one of the absolute worst nightmares they can face. The third thing that deeply shatters a narcissist is being directly insulted. Narcissists are fully aware of how much their words hurt other people. They know precisely what they are doing when they deploy manipulative and dishonest statements to tear someone down. Yet turn that dynamic around, and a narcissist cannot tolerate even gentle, constructive criticism directed at them. Being completely honest with a narcissist is treated almost like a criminal act in their eyes. This unfolds constantly. Any slight critique of the image they constructed is interpreted as a brutal, personal attack. You will notice that narcissists are exceptionally sensitive to insults, because beneath the surface, they are already consumed by anxiety and self-doubt. Unfortunately, they always have major flaws hiding under that fake exterior, and that is simply the painful truth. Things look grim for them the moment their authentic self gets exposed. They often struggle to grasp basic concepts about their own behavior. So these are the primary forces guaranteed to break down a narcissist emotionally. Once you examine them closely, their vulnerabilities become glaringly obvious. They operate stealthily, manipulate others, and beneath it all, remain terrified and insecure. Make sure to hit that like button if this is making sense so far. Now let us talk about the absolute best way to handle a narcissist in your life. Nothing triggers more jealousy in a narcissist than watching you move forward and cultivate genuine happiness without them. That is genuinely the most frustrating thing you can do to them, because it fills them with bitter envy. Narcissists are utterly incapable of creating their own happiness. Even those who achieve financial success or career milestones never feel satisfied, because no achievement is ever enough to fill their endless void for attention. Narcissists derive a strange sense of satisfaction from watching other people suffer. Observing someone else feel sad, broken, or hopeless makes them feel slightly less isolated in their own internal emptiness. Keep in mind that narcissists actively try to ruin life for everyone nearby. The old phrase about misery loving company describes their daily mindset perfectly. But remember this vital truth: your personal mental and emotional well-being matters infinitely more than anything a narcissist thinks or does. Narcissists possess an instinct for sensing when you are hurting. They can immediately tell when you are harboring resentment or remaining open to forgiving them, because those exact feelings make you an easy target to pull back into their orbit. So maintain a firm distance from narcissists and the supporters who defend them, often referred to as flying monkeys, because those individuals will do everything possible to keep you feeling powerless and stuck. If you truly want to protect your peace, the healthiest choice is to completely stop interacting with them and their enablers. Keeping them around in any capacity only delays your personal healing. Of course, the time required to recover depends entirely on how much damage was inflicted initially. If you are forced to interact with a narcissist despite your best efforts, maintaining emotional composure is critical. One effective strategy is treating them as though they are completely invisible, walking right past without offering any emotional reaction. The absolute most powerful move you can make is staying quiet and protecting your inner calm. Because narcissists simply cannot comprehend a person who refuses to play their mind games. Narcissists frequently seek out former targets just to reignite old conflicts over and over again. They assume that life without them has been miserable for you, and they desperately want to see you struggling because your pain makes them feel powerful. The moment a narcissist realizes you no longer care to participate in their back-and-forth drama, they lose their precious sense of control. They actually enjoy watching you spiral into anger, bitterness, and thoughts of revenge, because those intense reactions keep you tethered to them. Remaining trapped in those helpless emotions only keeps you locked in the toxic cycle far longer than necessary. At the same time, if you hold on to a pessimistic view of life, you might end up attracting even more negative experiences. If you genuinely want to transform your life after surviving narcissistic abuse, you must be willing to shift your mindset, process your emotions, and commit to personal growth. Always strive to stay resilient throughout every stage of your recovery journey. When a narcissist observes someone they once mistreated, thriving and excelling, it triggers deep waves of sorrow and envy within them. Even if they pretend to be happy for you on the outside, deep down they resent you for how much damage their toxic actions caused in the past. If you manage to keep your inner spark alive despite everything they threw at you, it drives them into deeper frustration and hostility. It becomes nearly impossible for them to digest the fact that you have moved forward and constructed a far superior life without their presence. Deciding to treat a narcissist as if they are completely irrelevant is one of the quickest ways to unhinge them. It inflicts genuine emotional distress, even if they go to great lengths to hide it publicly. Around this point, you might notice the narcissist attempting to circle back into your life, testing your boundaries and looking for a fresh way inside. Re-engaging with a narcissist is extremely risky. So unless they offer a completely sincere apology and take full accountability for their past mistreatment, it is crucial to keep that door firmly locked and ignore their reach-outs. Occasionally they will try a grand romantic gesture or display a sudden wave of warmth to win you over, making you question your choice to leave, only to revert back to their harmful behavior the moment your guard drops. If you suspect a former narcissist is quietly watching your progress, maintaining absolute distance is your best defense. Your true self-worth never depends on whether they acknowledge it or not. Your personal growth and success become a constant source of envy for them because it highlights their own deep flaws and reminds them that they will never match your emotional depth, character, or personal growth. Thriving after enduring narcissistic abuse is truly the ultimate form of reclaiming your life. So guard your peace, protect your energy, and never allow anyone to diminish your progress. Now let us pivot to 9 clear signs that indicate a narcissist wants you back and is trying to pull you into their life. One critical behavior to recognize here is a manipulation tactic known as hoovering. This occurs when a narcissist senses they are losing their control over you and desperately tries to reestablish a hold. The term originates from the idea of vacuuming something back in swiftly and aggressively. It is simply another strategy to drag you back into the abuse cycle so they can continue exploiting you for their own benefit. From their self-centered perspective, the story never changes. They believe you were the one who ruined things because they stopped caring the second the initial excitement wore off. It follows a predictable pattern, starting with a charming impression before degrading into unpleasant treatment over time. So how do you spot the signs that a narcissist is draining your vital energy? Pay close attention as we go through these 9 distinct indicators that reveal a narcissist is attempting to exploit you once again. The very first sign is that the narcissist behaves as though nothing bad ever occurred between you. A narcissist might attempt to regain access by suddenly reaching out after months of silence. Any communication that feels excessively sweet, nostalgic, or artificially warm demands serious skepticism. Rather than wasting precious energy decoding their motives, focus on the underlying pattern. They will talk to you as if your history is completely fine, nudging you to just forget the past. This often looks like a random text, a funny meme, or a casual phone call checking in on your day. Many people who left narcissistic partners report being approached with smooth lines about missing the good old days or receiving unannounced gifts like flowers out of nowhere. Narcissists almost never accept genuine responsibility for their mistakes or make real amends to fix broken trust. In fact, that total lack of accountability is a central feature of their personality profile. Instead, they choose the easy route of pretending the hurt never happened. This elaborate routine is simply a method to preserve their public image for social media followers while trying to trick you into believing the connection never truly ended. The second sign is that narcissists are notorious for delivering apologies they do not mean at all. Remember that narcissists rarely undergo genuine, lasting change. So, before you consider extending forgiveness or granting another chance, pause and evaluate whether their words hold any true weight. There is almost always a quiet thread of deceit running through this kind of behavior, subtle yet highly effective. If you want to test their honesty, try gently setting a boundary or shifting the conversation away from their narrative. If they react with sudden irritation or anger, that is absolute proof their apology was fake from the start. Narcissists are profoundly self-absorbed individuals who prioritize their desires above your well-being, and they will continue utilizing these manipulative tricks as long as you allow them to work. Exercise extreme caution around anyone performing fake remorse, because they are always seeking a specific reward. A real, heartfelt apology naturally produces consistent, positive changes in future actions. The third major sign is that a narcissist will shower you with declarations of endless love and unwavering devotion. Excessive affection, commonly known as love bombing, is one of their absolute favorite tools. They will shower you with intense emotional displays that can feel overwhelming. For a narcissist, digging up old romantic memories is a central tactic to win back your heart. They will inflate how magical those past moments were, using their exaggerated self-image to make the history feel far grander than it actually was. They might say things like, "You were the only person who truly understood them," or that they could never find anyone else like you. These intense emotional performances might make you feel comfortable around them initially, but behind every grand statement is a hidden agenda to make you surrender your boundaries and return. Even after all the pain that transpired, these grand claims of devotion keep coming. When you are entangled with a narcissist, they treat the concept of love as a leverage tool to prevent you from walking away. The fourth sign involves a narcissist showering you with massive promises they have zero intention of fulfilling. This is another core element of their charm campaign. They will try to reassure you using sweeping, dramatic statements about the future. They might suddenly bring up long-term commitments, offer to purchase expensive items for you, or plan extravagant vacations together. The reality is that there is virtually no chance they will ever follow through on those grand declarations. Narcissists operate purely out of self-interest, which is precisely why their promises carry no real value. None of this dynamic is your fault, and you should never blame yourself for how you responded to their manipulation. Those grand commitments were never actually about making you happy. They were designed to increase your emotional dependence on them for as long as possible. The fifth sign emerges when a narcissist realizes they cannot contact you directly, so they begin targeting the people around you instead. A narcissist will go to incredible lengths to reestablish a connection. A common approach is staying overly friendly with your family members, checking in with your relatives, and expressing how much they still care about you. They might even use your children to talk about how wonderful you are and how deeply they miss the family unit. Stay sharp when you spot this tactic, as they are actively using people you trust to bypass your personal boundaries. They may also send emotional messages through mutual acquaintances because you have blocked direct communication. The sixth sign appears when a narcissist attempts to extract your sympathy by playing the victim card. Individuals with strong narcissistic traits have a massive flair for dramatic storytelling. They spend vast amounts of time feeling sorry for themselves and are exceptionally skilled at creating manufactured crises just to yank your attention back in their direction. It is not uncommon for them to exaggerate personal struggles or invent severe family emergencies just to capture your pity. Their intense emotional displays stem from an insatiable hunger for attention and validation. While they might focus heavily on you in the moment, what they truly crave is being the absolute center of attention at all times. Most of the time, this crisis tactic is purely a mechanism to capture your focus by spiking your stress and concern. Spreading distorted information and wild rumors is something narcissists excel at, which brings us to the seventh sign. This form of manipulative behavior is frequently used to undermine your reputation and keep you defensively engaged. Recognizing these underlying patterns is the ultimate key to breaking free from the emotional loop and reclaiming your absolute personal power once and for all. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time listening today, and I wish you immense strength, clarity, and peace as you move forward on your journey.